Hello friends, are you stuck on and discuss with your guide the research ideal sciences and English literature? The first one in this field is health humanities. What is health humanities? It's an upcoming field, and due to the coronavirus pandemic, this field will gain more importance day by day. Health humanities was earlier known as medical humanities. It is an interdisciplinary field of study that draws on the aspects of the arts and humanities in its approach to health and well-being of human beings. It involves arts, music, literary studies, language, law, history, philosophy, religion to question the healthcare and well-being of human beings. There are many literary works which talk about this, and you can explore them further. There are many subfields of medical humanities or health humanities. The first one is narrative medicine. According to the critiques of narrative medicine, they say that when a patient comes to a doctor, he tells his story, he narrates his pain in some words, and the doctor needs to understand that. And for this, the medical students, they should be trained in literature as well. Similarly, there are illness narratives. You can take some cancer narratives, you can take some stories about mental illness, you can take some stories related to physical illness, how they affect a human being, the psychology of a human being. You can apply the theories of psychology, you can apply the theory of sociology, and this studies in detail. Next field is cross-cultural issues. How death is viewed in different cultures. You can take literary texts from Indian English literature, Australian English literature, American English literature, and you can draw a comparison how they see death or life or illness. Then is the art of medicine. How a doctor treats a patient depends on the culture, on the socio-economic condition of that country. You can take some African literature, you can compare it with some American literary texts, and then you can find out the difference. Similarly, there is another important field, and it is going to be very important in the coming days, that is human worth and pandemic. What is the role of human being, the life of a human being, how it is treated in pandemic, what happens to the different resources, the different fields, the different social aspects. This is studied under this. Then doctor-patient relationship. There are many literary texts which reflect this, and you can select them from there. Society and health in literature. How it is reflected, especially in English literature. So you can study, you can select the text. You must have studied some texts, and you can explore them well. Another field is digital humanities, a very popular field these days. What is digital humanities? Again, it is an intersection of digital technologies and the disciplines of the humanities. It involves various subfields like digital archives. Digital archives tends to the projects which are undertaken in order to archive all the classical texts, like you might have heard about Project Gutenberg. Under this classic literature like Don Quixote was presented in the form of e-text. So most of the Greek literature, it is presented in the form of e-text. This is known as digital archiving. Then is textual mining. What is textual mining? Basically, what happens in this, that a text is studied in a digital form, and what is the outcome of that? For example, some scholar had studied Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and this is the digital form of that text. It says that the word Mr. is frequently used in this text. Then the second topmost word is Elizabeth, third one said, fourth one Darcy, and Mrs. So this is how it is represented. It is also another interesting, is also an important field. What is the impact of an app? What is the impact of a game on the society, on the culture of the society, is studied under software studies. For example, recently we had Zoom app. How lockdown popularized Zoom app and how suddenly it was taken away or it was uninstalled. So the same things are studied under software studies, a very interesting field, and we can study literature through software studies, or how the apps like Duolingo, translation apps, how they are working and how they are affecting the studies can be studied through this. Third important field is film studies. It is not that much explored in India. It is also an interesting field. What is the impact of films on society? How much is the impact? What kind of films people like? We can study through this. How women are represented in films and how they have been accepted. There are different subfields of film studies like film studies, media studies, television studies, film studies, and another important subfields of film studies are text mining, cinema and social network analysis, audience research. Not much has been done in audience research. People have not taken the views of audience in proper scientific manner, and the data has not been analyzed that much. Methods in new cinema history, production analysis, and film policy research, besides narrative analysis also. So these are the many interesting fields, and in certain universities students are taking up these issues, but not that much. So I hope the students will go for these topics, and if you need any kind of assistance, if you want to know the books, the kind of links which are required for these different fields, you can contact or you can connect through comments. You can ask your questions there. Thank you very much, and we'll continue telling you about